All right, let's go. It's episode 5 of the Natural State of Sports show. It's my first time anchoring. Kyle Marshak, E. Hutch in the house, young Riley in the producer's chair. Guys, I just want to start off by saying I'm pumped. I am pumped to host this pod with you guys. How's everyone doing today?
Heck yeah, we're doing good, feeling good. It's Friday.
Finally.
Finally Friday.
Finally Friday.
TGIF, am I right?
TGIF,
Yeah,
as the kids say.
As the kids say. Gosh, we're old, guys. This might be the youngest podcast crew in the land.
Oh,
Riley,
easily.
you're what, 22?
I am 22, yes.
That's crazy. 23.
23? I'm 23.
Wow.
When were you born? What month?
February.
03?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a month on you. What day?
7.
Okay, I was the 21st. So I've got 2-3 weeks on you. I don't know. I'm not good at it. Anyways.
Whoa. February 21st?
No. January. January
Oh,
21st.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
12 minutes after my twin.
Oh, you do have a twin.
Yeah.
I had to think about that for a second.
People forget that I'm a twin.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, anyways, we're talking football today, guys. I think the last position group we haven't really spoke about, except maybe pieces of the O-line and maybe the secondary, the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
We got to talk wide receivers.
No, absolutely. And I feel like, obviously, there's so much, I would say, confusion. There's so much uncertainty around the team so far this year, especially with the quarterback battle. That's insane in itself. But also, I know that they were saying that wide receiver-wise, they don't have their go-to guy picked out yet, which, in my opinion, if you don't have your starting quarterback and the go-to wide receiver, I feel like that's kind of not setting yourself up for success. But that doesn't mean that they don't obviously have options for a go-to guy for wide receiver. And I feel like everybody at this point is kind of pointing towards Chris Marshall.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be wide receiver 1. I mean, C.J. Brown is probably the leader of the room since he's the returner.
Yeah.
But in terms of the numbers that Marshall as a transfer brings in after his senior year with Boise State, he's the dude. He's the guy for sure.
Yeah.
But to your point, when you don't have a quarterback selected, which I think it's kind of all signs point to KJ Jackson being the starting QB.
Yeah.
But even then, he's young. This is going to be his first year, being a full-time starter.
Exactly.
He's in the SEC. You really have no idea what you're going to get with the QBs.
No, exactly.
So
yeah. No, and I definitely feel like you said, KJ is probably top quarterback at this point. And then I feel like him and Chris Marshall could be a very, very awesome duo this year, especially because I was kind of thinking about it, and I was like, obviously, in this era of college football, you are getting those transfers, those guys that, like Chris Marshall, are on their 5th year, trying to go out with a bang probably. And I feel like teams are obviously getting that maybe one-and-done guy that comes in for a year, helps bring up the team a little bit, and then obviously leaves. And so I'm kind of thinking that's the way it's going to be with Chris Marshall, but I'm not going to complain if he's going to come in and, help Arkansas go to maybe a 4-5-win season, 6-win season, dare I say, but that's ceiling.
you guys already on the podcast have kind of given your win-loss total, right?
I think.
Young Riley?
I have. I think maybe.
A little bit. You're previewing next week's content as well.
Oh,
We're gonna talk
okay.
about that as well next week and going into the home season opener on September 5th. I will say, going back to Chris Marshall, the two guys that I think who were on the roster last year, who we have heard is probably going to have the most impact from coaches, from the wide receiver coach, from Tim Cramsey, from Silverfield, it's Chris Marshall. Chris Marshall has had a great fall camp, a great spring. Spring game, had a couple drops, but has made some big explosive plays, which Arkansas is going to need that. There was not a lot of explosive offense last season, and Chris Marshall seems to be the man. The other guy that we talked about yesterday that is going to be hugely impactful is Joker Johnson in the secondary from Tulane. Highly coveted transfer. He's going to be big. So those, again, Chris Marshall, he's going to be the guy.
Which is a sick name, by the way.
Absolutely.
Joker Johnson.
Absolutely.
Are you a DC guy?
I know. We were talking about how he needs an NIL deal with DC Comics. Or at least maybe a Joker tattoo or something.
That would be the highest degree NIL deal Arkansas football will ever see. Is someone signing with DC Comics, and then they have to get a Joker tattoo.
No, literally.
That would be sick, man.
Wouldn't that be so awesome? Cool. You could get the Joker smile on your hand.
Yeah, that would be wow. That would be dope. I knew someone in college, very briefly, just a random kid, like didn't do any sports or anything with him. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Freshman year, I wasn't friends with him for too long, but he told me that he loves the Joker. And then I dropped by his dorm room and he had a big, like he basically had a Joker mural in his room, which that was a little bizarre, but I guess he's a cool character. And I was like, why do you love the Joker so much? And he was like, oh, I have the same like condition as the Joker. He had the same mental condition where he had uncontrollable laughter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my
He was on
gosh.
medication for it and everything.
He's probably watching it right now. He's watching this right now, dude.
No, there's no way he is. But if you are, dude, you're a nice guy, and you know what? I appreciate your candidness of the appreciation of the Joker. But anyways, back to the wide receivers.
Yeah.
Chris Marshall's that guy. C.J. Brown's going to be the number 2 for sure. And then after that, like you've got other good talents. Ismail Cece is probably going to be the dude that ends up in the slot. Riley, you were talking about him before the pod. 26 receptions, 241 yards with Stanford last year. Like, do you think he's going to end up being like a big tertiary target?
CC?
Yeah.
CC's returning this year.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
Yep. CC.
Stanford 2 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Another guy that Cramsey talked about a couple weeks ago was the guy from LSU. God, I'm already forgetting.
Jelani Watkins?
Jelani Watkins,
Yeah.
thank you. Said he's got some speedsters in the room, the track stars, and you got to get the ball to these speedsters.
Are you guys track fans at all?
Not really. Not really.
I know we're great at it, and I know we have a lot of success. I do not personally watch track.
Yeah.
I'll put it in context because I am a big track fan, and obviously Arkansas is elite at track. For people who aren't too familiar with track, Jelani Watkins is like QB1 for the sprinters in track and field. Like he's that guy. He's one of the best sprinters in the country.
Yeah.
Now, we see a lot of the time that elite track sprinters, they don't necessarily translate to the gridiron because, straight line speed, and then, sometimes they just have natural agility, but you need to have really good hands. And it's a lot of time to split between the track and the gridiron. And so, I mean, he hasn't flashed huge numbers on the gridiron yet. With LSU last year, 2 receptions, 21 yards. I mean, so he just hasn't had a great football season yet. But when you have someone with insane straight line speed like him, I mean, he was legitimately a top 10 100-meter sprinter in the country. He had the number 1 time for a lot of the season this past year during the outdoor season, which the Hogs ultimately won the outdoor championship. I mean, he is just freakishly fast. I mean, I've seen him in person. The dude is he's twitched up. Just a freak athlete.
Another thing I remember Cramsey was talking about too was adjusting to the physicality, adjusting to be able to get hit. I mean, that's always a tough transition for track stars. They're not getting hit on the 100-meter dash unless they're pushing over the person next to them in the race. But
Yeah.
I think he said I don't know if it was Watkins or it was someone else. Someone got popped during spring ball and they were out for a couple weeks. So that's another aspect of that with adjusting to the football field from track.
No, exactly. Absolutely. And I know on the topic of football, like we were saying earlier, TGIF, and that means it's one week from Football Friday night here on 5 News. Super excited. It'll be my first time joining the Friday night team. And so I know Kyle over here has been working his butt off, getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go film high school football. So how's that been? What can we expect for some high school football this season? What have you seen? What's been exciting?
Well, first of all, thanks for the credit. I appreciate that. I've always had this stigma in my head that if you're not willing to wake up at absurd hours and like function on low sleep, then you're just not about that life. So
Some could say.
So I'm glad that I'm just grinding it out. I'm just like, I woke up at 4:30 this morning. I beelined an hour to Cedarville, realized that I misscheduled the practice this morning, and then drove another 45 minutes to Greenwood. Greenwood, hey, they're a good football team, by the way.
Okay.
What are they, 5A, 6A?
Oof.
4A?
You went to Greenwood?
Yeah, I did.
6A last year was in the state championship, lost once again.
They're good.
Or excuse me, they lost to Shiloh in a barn burner, 70-50. Moving down to 5A because of enrollment numbers. A lot of people are upset about that one, but Greenwood's going to be good. They're the favorite in 5A. There's no doubt about that. They've been a powerhouse for years.
Heck yeah.
So what's been cool about driving around and collecting all of the tape for FFN for me is I'm only 4 months into this job now. And first off, I love this job. This is my first, real full-time
He has
sports
to say that for
broadcasting
the
job.
camera.
I have to say it on the podcast. I mean, off cameras, I would never say that. No, I'm kidding. But what's cool is, so now that I'm doing this and I'm helping out the station and, obviously doing something that's productive and early hours, what's nice is that I'm actually discovering like the nooks and crannies of Arkansas while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
What a beautiful state. Like,
Yeah.
no pun intended, because we're on the Natural State of Sports show. But like, really is a beautiful state. I love it here. Northwest Arkansas is just gorgeous everywhere
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Have you traveled? Like, are you a hiker at all, or?
I am an outdoorsy person, but I definitely need to go travel a lot more. I feel like I have the time probably on weekends, but like you said, at least you get to do it for work. You get to go see all these little communities, obviously all these high school football teams. And I feel like at that point, it's like going through college and obviously watching like college football and then obviously being a fan of NFL, it's like you look back at high school football and you might be like, oh, was it ever really that serious? But then I feel like you doing this job, it's like, no, it is that serious for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, well, in juxtaposition too, like, I'm born and raised in Syracuse, New York. Syracuse high school football is not, I mean, obviously they take it just as serious as any other area, but like, it's not the same degree of success. Although I will say, our most recent big name high school football graduate, you guys are not going to expect this, Mike Washington Jr. Yeah. He went to my high school. He's a year older than me. He was a good kid. I didn't really know him. We didn't talk that much. He did dunk on me in high school gym class once, though.
You love to tell that story.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
think
gosh.
I think I've said this on air once, but not, hey, it's my first time anchoring the pod.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I got to let the Mike Washington story rip,
Exactly.
He has no idea who I am. I reached out to one of his contacts once, hoping for an interview after he
Yeah.
got drafted. Never got a
Yeah.
response. So
Yeah.
just is what it is.
2-minute warning.
Well, you know what? Now he's a meme for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, dude's going to be a stud. We're excited to see that. All right, 2-minute warnings. We're going to start going rapid fire. Last thing I want to talk about, CBS Sports released a top college football helmets article this morning. I just want your reactions, guys. E. Hutch, young Riley. Am I allowed to call you young Riley? Middle-aged Riley.
There you go. How about that? I think it was USA Today released this. And
Oh,
let me
was it?
pull
Okay,
up right
okay.
here.
I saw the
Let's
blue
pull it
logo,
up.
assumed it was CBS Sports. No Arkansas on the list.
No Arkansas on the list.
Shocker.
See if
But,
I can scroll here.
E. Hutch,
Hold
you're
on.
fashionable.
Oh,
So-
thank you.
Yeah. So what would your take be? Like, just college football helmets that come to mind.
Ooh, okay. If I think about it, well, I can't be biased. Obviously, I love a Longhorn, duh. But when I think about it, I also really like. Okay, I really like the Florida Gators. I know theirs say Gators. But for some reason, I really like that font. I also really like their colorway. So that's what comes to mind for me. What about you?
Grow up biased. I'm a big Syracuse fan. I don't think they made the list. I saw Hawaii's helmet on there.
Theirs is pretty cool.
I almost took a job in Hawaii once, so
Oh.
I was very heavily invested in their culture, the program out there.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. Riley, you got a take before we exit?
Number
Favorite
one on the
helmet.
list. Number one on this list from USA Today. Michigan. Terrible.
Oof.
Terrible choice. I think Notre Dame is number one.
Ooh.
Tell you what,
I
the
think-
Buckeyes ain't on that list,
And
huh?
Ohio State's number 3. Nice try, though.
All right, we got to be out in a second here. We're all out of bullets, but for E. Hutch, Young Riley, I'm Kyle Marshak. Natural State of Sports Show episode 5 is a wrap. We'll see you guys next week.
Hey guys, post-pod edit. I know Michael Washington Jr. is on the Vegas Raiders. I was thinking of Michael Penix Jr. on the Atlanta Falcons, who made that meme during the preseason. Forgive me. I will see you guys on the pod Monday.